The early 1980s is when home computers first took off. And if you grew up around that time, you'll probably still remember some of the names of the computers. There was the ZX Spectrum by Sinclair. There was the Commodore 64 and VIC-20 and a number of others. Dragon 32, BBC Micro B, Auric Atmos. Some of those names will be familiar to some of you because you're in the United Kingdom. Others in the USA, you may never even have heard of the ZX Spectrum or the Dragon 32. But you will certainly have heard of the Commodore 64, which was popular on both sides of the Atlantic. But I wonder, have any of you heard of an 8-bit computer called the Saga One Emperor? I'll give you a close look at it here. The Saga One Emperor, what on earth is this? Well, I tell a lie. There was no such computer called the Saga One Emperor. If I turn it around, you may see where I'm getting at. Does that look a little bit more familiar, at least to British viewers? 48K, and the shape of it, the size of it. It's a Sinclair ZX Spectrum, and the original faceplate of the Spectrum was this one, with the glorious rubber keys. The Saga One Emperor is a keyboard replacement for the original ZX Spectrum, and this was a garage find recently for me, but I owned one of these when I was a kid. It was like a present for my 15th birthday. So seeing this again was so nostalgic for me. It really was an incredible keyboard. Very, very clicky. And the keys are just as responsive today as they ever were. Now, when I first plugged this in, it wasn't working. So I decided to open it up and try to see what was wrong. I could still remember the two little connectors. It really is quite easy to take the Spectrum keyboard and replace it. You just slide these little connectors into the sockets on the inside of the Spectrum. It's just a matter of unscrewing some screws and changing it over. But it wasn't working. Some of the keys just weren't functioning. So I took it apart and I noticed that all the glue that was holding the keyboard membrane to the keys had completely crumbled away, given the fact that this is at least 35 years old or thereabouts. Maybe not quite that, but close, something close to 35 years. So I decided to clean off all the glue and maybe try to use double-sided sticky tape as a replacement. So I used some ethanol to get rid of the glue, and I hoped I wasn't going to damage it using that. And 5 or 6 hours later, it looked like this, nice and clean. So I was thinking about double-sided sticky tape, but then I thought all that glue seemed a tad overkill to me. So I just decided to put it together with a little bit of sellotape around the edges, and it seemed to me that that should hold the membrane close enough to the actual keys. And so I put it back together. And when I turned the Spectrum on, it still didn't work. So I have a bit of a ZX Spectrum graveyard in the house at the minute due to the fact that my late uncle collected these things at car boot sales. So I had a few other Spectrums that I could try. There was one other one that I had labeled as faulty keyboard. So I figured it's just the membrane on the keyboard. I'll take the keyboard off that one, put the Saga Emperor onto it, and we'll see if that one works. And again, it didn't work. Now, I was about to completely give up on this when it occurred to me that it wasn't exactly the same keys that were failing to respond from one Spectrum to the next. So I wondered, was it the membrane of the Saga at all? Or was it the connector within the actual Spectrum? So I had one ZX Spectrum that was in perfect working order, and I was loath to open it up given the sensitivity of old hardware and not wanting to disturb anything. But I took a chance and I took the keyboard off and put the Saga on, and I tested it, And it turns out that it is working absolutely perfectly. So I'm delighted with this. So the one thing you'll notice about it is the keys all have the original, if you can see it there, they all have the original little Spectrum commands on them. And they're stick-on keys. I remember when this first came as a birthday present, all the keys were blank. And you basically had a big sheet of stickers and you had to stick them all on individually. And I see that a couple of these haven't been put on all that straight. Yeah, they're not bad though. But it would be, and you can see some of them have worn away. Let's look at the arrow keys here in particular. Somebody's been playing a lot of games with left and right. I remember they also, the Saga company, they gave away 2 sets of stickers with it. Sadly, I don't have the other sticker set. If anyone out there has one and doesn't need it, I would love it, okay? I would love to restore this to as close as possible to its original condition as I can. But it's working, that's the main thing. So, let's now tune it into a modern television. Believe it or not, you can do that. This is the little connector here. It's not composite. Notice it isn't coded as yellow. This exists from a time before composite was invented, or at least before it was popular on televisions and video recorders and things like that. This is just a standard RF socket that you plug an aerial cable into, and you plug it into your television's aerial and you manually tune your TV. So it is possible to do that with a modern TV, and we're going to try that now. This cable that came with the Spectrum attached into the television's aerial socket. I'm going to plug the other end into the Spectrum's RF socket. I'm going to plug the power in. Physically, that's all we need to do. Let's set that up there. But I got to tune the TV in. So it's different for every television, but your TV should have an option for analog tuning. Mine's in settings, down to here, and there we go. Analog setup, auto tuning, start auto tuning, okay. So this is how you would go about tuning in any sort of 8-bit computer from the 1980s. Maybe not all of them, but certainly the ones that operated like this. And there we go, it's found it. This is a particularly interesting time to be interested in the ZX Spectrum because of the ZX Spectrum Next computer that is released at the moment. Well, the first batch of it, which is a board-only version, is released, and the idea is that you can put it inside an original ZX Spectrum. I'm currently waiting on the release of the full product, which will have its own special keyboard. But there's a lot of modders out there are making their own very unique ZX Spectrum Next computers. Wouldn't it be interesting to have a ZX Spectrum Next inside one of these? I'm not sure how well it would fit because the joystick ports are here along the front, and I don't know whether this case would get in the way, but it certainly would be an interesting project to try if any modders are interested in it. Although I think I'm going to be hanging on to mine just as it is.